wrote this just for you, and you know who you are. Write down 4-0. Write down 4-0. There are 40 work days left in this year. 40 work days left in this year. The goal is to focus on running through the finish line. I'm already starting to see some of the trainers and some of the managers and brokers from other companies talk about get your business plans ready. Set your business plan up for 2013. Start thinking about 2013. Start thinking about 2013. Personally, I think that's great for them. Because what our job is to do is to focus on running through the finish line. Focus on running through the finish line. In 40 work days, you can still take a listing, sell it, open escrow, and close it before the end of those 40 work days. You still can do that. Each and every one of you have the opportunity to do at least one more transaction. Some of you are going to do 2 or 3. Some of you might take 4 or 5 listings because you're on track to be taking a listing or 2 a week right now. So why would you stop that? Why would you slow that process down even 1 iota? If you're on track to take 1 listing a week and there's about 8 weeks left in the year, that means that's 8 listings you won't take before now and the end of the year. Which also, now let me just ask you a question. Let's back up for a second. Are listings selling quickly or not? Yes, they're selling, right? So those 8 listings that you start to back off the pedal on can be lost to you forever. So think about that. Run through the finish line. I wrote down here, success in our educational system today is tied to the ability to memorize and apply information. Think about that. All the tests our kids are taking, all the standardized testing to get into the colleges today, all the education that we got in the past was tied to the ability to memorize and apply that information. Top grades go to the students with megabyte memories. Think about this. So success is tied to memorizing and applying information. The conventional wisdom, the people who are supposed to know, say the future success and classroom grades go hand in hand with students with the best grades are likely to succeed. Well, that kind of screws me up. I don't know if those of you that haven't talked to my wife lately, she just can't believe I can do anything because I got like 13 D's in high school. 13 D's. She has the report. She'll show it to you. I don't know if you knew this or not, but over 50% of all the Fortune 500 company CEOs had C or C- grades in college. Did you know that 65% of all the senators that are, maybe this is part of the problem, 65% of all the senators come from the bottom 1/2 of the class. 65% of all the senators come from the bottom 1/2 of the class. Listen to this one. 75% of all of our presidents were in the lower 1/2 of the class in the history of America. 75%. And did you know that 50% of all millionaire entrepreneurs never finish college? The 2 most famous that you know of are Zuckerberg and Gates. Two most famous of recent times, Zuckerberg and Gates. Also, they say, athletic performance, like academic ability, is also assumed to be this way too. Those with God-given natural abilities run faster, jump higher, or throw further. That's the assumption. If this is true, then how could the U.S. hockey team in 1980 defeat the Russians? The Russians were vastly more talented. They had more experience, more skill. They were stronger and faster skaters than any of the U.S. players, and yet America won anyway. See, conventional wisdom isn't always right, is it? Basketball player Larry Bird can't run as fast or jump as high as most NBA players. Joe Namath can't throw as hard or as far as most NFL quarterbacks. Yet these are stars among stars. The most common elements in most great people we know in all walks of life is their passion. It's their drive. It's their enthusiasm. And it's their desire. Let me repeat that. The most common elements in most people who succeed at a very high level in this life are people with high passion, high drive, phenomenal enthusiasm, and their desire to get it done or to achieve. Doesn't matter where you started. Doesn't matter if you came from the other side of the tracks. Doesn't matter how old you are or how young you are. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. Doesn't matter if you were born in this country or not born in this country. It's the beauty of this country. It's the phenomenal beauty of this country. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I was reading last night that to purchase property in China as not a Chinese citizen, I have to pay a 15% premium on property. We don't do that in America, do we? So if you want to buy a house in China or a factory in China, you'll pay the price and a 15% tax. America's an amazing place. And most of you, if not all of you, have what I call the winning lottery ticket. You know what that is? That's your real estate license. That's the winning lottery ticket. That's, in my opinion, the Great Equalizer. It doesn't matter where you came from. It doesn't matter who your mom or dad was. It doesn't matter if you had money or didn't have money. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor or old or young. It's the Great Equalizer because it gives us all the same opportunity to list and sell real estate at a very high level. It's an amazing, amazing ticket to success. And you have it in your pocket right now. In order to run through the finish line, I think in the next 40 work days, there's two things that we have to really, really focus on that'll help bring in listings and sales today and set us up for an amazing first quarter. So some of you might want to take notes. Maybe not. Odds are your next deal is going to come from one of these two places. Odds are your next deal or deals are going to come from one of these two places. Number one, not necessarily in this order, is going to be expireds and old expireds. And number two is going to be your past client and sphere of influence. Let me explain. What you need to be doing in the next 40 days is going to see as many old expireds at the door or expireds at the door. Now here's what I'm talking about on the expireds. Average agents will call, pick up the phone, they will dial, and they will call and try to talk to the seller. Superstar agents will get off their tush, go in their car, and go knock on the door and talk face-to-face to those expireds. Then when they're done talking with them, the ones they do find at home, they'll door knock 10 around it. That's where the opportunities are. Think about that for the next 40 workdays. For the next 40 workdays, I want you to do either a 5-5-10, which is preview 5, go see 5 expireds or old expireds, and then door knock 10 around each. If you're having trouble finding the previews today, then do what I call a modified 5-5-10, and that is, I'll give you the secret, it's called a 10-10. 10 expireds, 10 doors. There you go. You now have it. The modified 5-5-10 is a 10-10. Go see 10 expireds or old expireds at the door, physically at the door. And I challenge you, it's only 40 days, 40 work days, which is probably what? That's 8 weeks. So it's 57, not 60, 60 days, okay? So 40 of them are work days between now and the end of the year. Here's the challenge. For the next 40 work days, let's actually do what Neil asks you to do. No, come on. Honest. Just for the next 40 work days, do that. Do what I'm asking you to do. Go see them at the door. The second part is past client and sphere. I was talking to a group of real estate agents the other day that are with our company, been with our company actually for a while, and it's a different group than you guys. They're in Orange County, so they haven't been with me as long. And we were talking about past client and sphere. Now, I've been talking about past client and sphere and touching base with them for a long, long time. Right? Say yes. We talk about emailing them weekly. We talk about mailing something to them on a monthly basis. And we talk about calling them and talking to them every other month. And those people down in Orange County hadn't done that for a while. Now, I know you guys have, so I'm not going to ask you if you have or you haven't. Okay? That stuff works, ladies and gentlemen. Your next transaction is going to come from talking to past client and sphere on a regular basis, and or it's going to come from talking to expireds and old expireds at the door. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to call all your past client and sphere between now and the rest of the year. Call every single one of them, 100, 200, 500, I don't care what you have. Call them. Break out the hot market script, which is broken down by city for them. And it's a really simple script. Hey, Manuel, Neil Schwartz, Century 21 Masters. You know, I just wanted to touch base with you today. I'm not sure if you knew this or not, but in your area of Azusa, there was actually 49 homes that actually closed escrow last month. And you know what, Manuel? The really good news is 22 of those sold at or above list price. Did you know that was going on in the marketplace? You had no idea. Exactly, and that's why I wanted to call and let you know that. Because when that starts to happen, 9 or 10 other houses are going to start selling right away. So, Manuel, I was curious. When do you folks plan on moving?
As a matter of fact, we were just talking about paper road.
Good job. Or I might not use that end. I might use, so Manuel, I'm curious. Who do you know who might be interested in buying or selling a house now or in the next couple of weeks? Fantastic. Then we need to get together. Ladies and gentlemen, call and talk to every single person. You do it with passion. You do it with excitement. You do it with enthusiasm. You're bringing them some great information. Most of your clients don't know the market's better. Did you know that? Now, you know it's better, so you assume everybody else knows it better. However, that's not the case because you're in the market on a daily basis. They're not. Especially the expireds that had their house on the market 2 or 3 years ago. They have no idea what's happening today in the marketplace. It's just their head isn't in that game. Call and tell them about it. They'll really appreciate hearing from you. I wrote down here, today matters. In the next 40 days, you can set yourself apart. Your competition, as of this Wednesday night, Thursday morning, Wednesday night is Halloween. Halloween starts the holiday season. I don't know when that started to happen for the real estate business. Thank God it didn't start in Easter. So at least Halloween's a little further along here, okay? But for some reason, in the real estate world, when Halloween comes, it's a signal for all average real estate agents to start backing off the pedal, to start doing a little bit less. The year is winding down. Oh, I got to get ready for the new year. I got to start planning and thinking about the new year. Don't do that to yourselves. Superstar real estate agents run through the finish line. Your competition, as of Wednesday night, is going to go to sleep even more than they've been falling asleep. Some of them have made a little more money. So you know how complacency works on us. Don't let complacency work on you. Some of those agents made a little bit more money this year than they made last year. You know, the market's up overall about 10 or 11%. So that means that somebody that made $100,000 last year should have made $110,000 this year. I mean, that's the basic rule of thumb. Don't get caught up with that average mentality, that average thought process. Crank it up now. You can do an extra 2, 3, 4, 5 transactions between now and the end of the year. In the next 40 days, you can set yourself apart. Number 1, work a great 8 every workday. What I call a great 8. Now, I know some of you say, 8? I want to work 10 or 12 or 15. I don't want you at the office for 10 or 12 hours. I want you working for 8 hours. Try that. Put a stopwatch on. Seriously. Go get a stopwatch, put it on, and when you're working, click it on. And when you're not, meaning you're going to get coffee, you're to the bathroom, you're talking to a friend, you're out to lunch, you're looking up a phone number for the 74th time today, put a stopwatch on. See if you're working a great 8 at the end of the day. I challenge you. I'd say most of you aren't. Just think about doing a great 8 for the next 40 work days. I wrote down here, go see every expired and old expired in the markets that you work between now and the end of the year. Go into your city. Go into Walnut. Go into Pomona. Go into Covina. Go into Pico Rivera. Go into Chino Hills, and find out how many properties expired in the last 2 years in that city. Make up a list. Put it on a map and go talk to them. Every single one of them between now and the end of the year in the cities that you work. Third one, knock 10 doors around every expired that you go see. Just humor me, okay? Please humor me as we get to the end of the year here. Then number 4, make sure your past client and sphere of influence system is set up and working, and you talk to every single person between now and the end of the year. tell them what's going on in the marketplace, talk to them about the hot market script, and what their plans for real estate are next year. Very simple and easy conversation. The next one I wrote down here, learn to handle the objection you most had trouble with when it comes up. Whatever objection you hate the most, I want to cut the commission, I want to think about it, I have a friend in the business, whatever one you dislike the most, tackle it, embrace it, learn it over the next 40 days. You're planning on being in the business more than a year, right? Say yes.
Yes.
More than 5 years, right? Say yes. I shared this with you before. 40 years ago, it'll be 40 years ago actually 41 years next May. I got my real estate license and got my first for sale by owner listing. My first listing was a for sale by owner in Northwest Whittier. And the objection 40 plus years ago was, we don't want to pay that much commission. We don't want to pay 6%. 40 years ago. I'll bet you a lot of money that 40 years from now, for sale by owners are going to have the same objection. How well do you handle it? Am I making sense here? The objections don't change. They really don't. Learn them, embrace them. Take the time to do that over the next 40 days. The next point I made is run through the finish line. Don't stop. Complete your 5-5-10s or your 10-10s daily for the next 40 work days. Do those activities. I wrote down here in closing, extraordinary people are ordinary people with the little extra added in front. When you take the word ordinary and you add the word extra, you have extraordinary. You are extraordinary just by adding that. 40 work days between now and the end of the year. Make a commitment to run through the finish line, and let's work on making this the best week we've ever had. Thank you.